Hey guys, my name's Adam, and today I'm going to be talking about why I'm holding my shares despite this massive 70% run up in Nordstrom stock. Of course, Nordstrom is expected to post their third quarter results on November 24th, and I do think that this stock could rise potentially even higher because I think that they will beat analyst expectations for this quarter, okay? And we can see that there's been a massive run up in the stock price, and part of it in my opinion, is aided by what's known as a short squeeze. As we can see, the short percent of float is 45% in Nordstrom stock, which is insane. I've never seen a stock shorted so badly, or this is one of the very few stocks that I've seen shorted so badly. And pretty much what happens is, as is clearly depicted in this figure, is shorts when the stock rises too much. Shorts get a margin call basically saying from their bank that you have to sell your position in order to stop your losses from going up even higher, right? So this guy's making fun of the shorts, and all I'm saying is shorts, get your shorts ready. It's about to be real. At least that's what I think will happen in their Q3 results. Of course, I'm not a financial advisor, so please take my advice with a grain of salt. I own Nordstrom stock. And I'm going to be holding it through their Q3 results, and I explain why in this video, right? And again, there's the same sentiment going on the Yahoo conversation section on Yahoo Finance, saying please keep shorting and help aid the squeeze in 2021. End of week will be 30% from where we are today. This will run to $24 by earnings. Watch, okay? So of course, the shorts hope that Nordstrom will, declare bankruptcy, or they'll have terrible numbers in this upcoming quarter, right? And if we're actually looking at what analysts expect, they actually expect for this current quarter to have negative 15% sales growth compared to the previous year. Now, while I think that this is slightly accurate, I do think that they'll have much better growth than negative 15%. I think that they'll have, maybe -5 or whatever growth year over year in Q3. Analysts do expect them to post, pretty crappy numbers as compared to a year ago, right? Negative 15% growth. Okay, and let's look at some fundamentals first. So right now, share prices sit at $20.79 with 52-week range of $11.72 to $43.37. And their 52-week high is still more than 50% above what they're trading at now at $20, and they're trading about $9 above their 52-week low. Okay, and if we're looking at indicators for a second, excuse me, so I'll just minimize this. We're seeing that they are, if we're looking at their relative strength index, Nordstrom is looking into overbought territory, sitting at like 73.76 right now. And generally, overbought is when you surpass, around 80 or 70, and oversold is when you go below 20. Okay, and however, the MACD is looking nice, right? The MACD moving average convergence divergence right now is sitting at a 1.64, and anything above a 0 is pretty much a bullish pattern, right? Which means in the short term, the stock is most likely to keep running up in the stock price, right? So maybe that 70% is just the beginning, especially if the short squeeze is coming. Okay, now let's talk about some fundamentals. Okay, let's look at retail price. Okay, and I just have a couple of charts now. What I want to look at specifically is controlled purchases, which is exactly what, I'll just get this back, exactly what Nordstrom is focused on. And retail controlled purchases pretty much means that it's even a more core view of retail sales, and so this series excludes motor vehicles and parts, gasoline, building materials, as well as food services and drinking places. So again, this is very specific when we're talking about retail control purchases, okay? As we can see, this dip was due to the pandemic, and now it's actually overshooting, and it's above the exponential regression line, as we can see here, okay? And if we zoom into Q3, of course, of which Nordstrom will be reporting, so that's July, August, and September, that's July, August, and September. We can see that, compared to the previous 3 quarters where there was like negative 7% here, just over 0% change year over year in terms of their sales. We can see that, the third quarter is kind of doing quite nicely if we're looking at these numbers, hovering at about 10% and even above 10% in September, right? Increase in sales year over year, right? So that's a good sign for me, right? And especially since Nordstrom caters towards, of course, the upper middle class. They also have their rack business, which caters more towards the middle to lower class, I guess, if you want to say it that way. So not only does this show that retail sales are back up on par and even higher than they were a year ago, um, this means not only that Nordstrom will benefit because, of course, these retail control purchases are increased as compared to Q2 2020, but also because Nordstrom caters towards companies or towards people who generally spend more per purchase, especially with their Nordstrom and not their rack business. This bodes well for them, right? And one thing I like is their e-commerce platform and that they had their anniversary sale in Q3 of 2020. And generally, they sell quite a bit of their clothes and other merchandise during their anniversary sale, which was held again in Q3 of 2020. So I believe all those factors will make Nordstrom post some nice numbers. Okay, and again, if we're looking at their e-commerce sales, Nordstrom's e-commerce sales represent 61% of their revenue in the second quarter of 2020, right? And I think this will just increase in the third quarter of 2020, and even in the fourth quarter going down the road. But again, their online platform is becoming increasingly more popular, and they're using it more and more to deliver sales. And of course, they're closing stores, which again seems like a bad sign on the surface. But again, they're getting more customers through their e-commerce site. When this is all built up and run up, this will actually increase their margins, right? So again, I just expect this trend to increase in the third quarter of 2020. Okay, and if we're looking at Nordstrom versus Macy's versus Kohl's, which Kohl's actually reported their Q3 results yesterday. I mean, I don't think you can compare Nordstrom to those companies, right? And these are part of the reasons, right? So one, they have higher loyalty rates than most other retail stores, right? When you shop at Nordstrom, you tend to stick with Nordstrom, okay? Second, they operate out of Class A malls, which tend to have more sales per customer, and they have higher income customers come to shop at these Class A malls, okay? So it's different than like a Macy's and Kohl's, which is more widespread and doesn't, cater toward any one specific person, right? But again, I do like also that they have their Nordstrom Rack business, which also caters towards everyone else, not just the higher income customers. And they have a large cash position, right? So I don't think that bankruptcy is a likely concern. As we'll see in their second quarter results, they increased their cash position by over 500 million, but they of course had to take out more debt to do that. And again, their anniversary sale in July means that this anniversary sale will be reported or will be reflected in their Q3 numbers. Of course, the shorts want them to declare bankruptcy, which I don't think is likely. And the short interest is really high, which can really depress the stock price for a long time. Okay. So again, let's just look to Kohl's numbers, even though I said that you can compare them. At least we want some guidance, okay? And they pretty much lost $12 million. However, and this represented an $8 loss in terms of cents per share, okay? In the third quarter. In the second quarter, they lost 30 cents per share or 47 million, right? So again, they're losing less and less money, right? They lost 30 cents in second quarter. Now they lost 8 cents in third quarter of 2020. And I think that, Nordstrom will actually be better poised in third quarter, again, for all the reasons that I just spoke of, higher customer retention rate, higher loyalty, better brand, and higher income customers in general, okay? And here, I don't think a bankruptcy is on Nordstrom's books, at least not for quite a while. One, because they increased their cash position by over $100 million as compared to February 1st, 2020. And of course, they had to take out $500 million worth of debt to do that, okay? But again, that's very common, especially since they're losing so much money and trying to develop their e-commerce site and having to, lay off employees, close stores, all of that, okay? But I am very, very optimistic for Nordstrom stock, just because, okay, one, retail sales are up, right? They're most likely not going to go bankrupt. They had their anniversary sale in Q3. And due to all the higher paying customers, better loyalty rate, all of that, I think that the shorts may get squeezed out. Okay, and I mean, I know we've seen a massive run up in Nordstrom stock price, right? Again, over 70% just over the past month. But remember, this is a stock that used to be trading at around like $55, $56, and is down by still over 62% if we're looking over 5 years. So that's massive, right? And I mean, just because of this little blip, I'm not going to be selling my shares. I think Nordstrom has quite a ways to still run up, especially when the shorts get squeezed out, because I don't think a bankruptcy is very likely at this point, of course. So, this is just the beginning, right? We're seeing the short interest is still incredibly high. So, I mean, I think there are good things coming for Nordstrom stock, especially since, that's not even talking about when they reinstate their dividend, which will most likely come in 2021, right? Especially with, vaccine news promising now 2 vaccines that are have promising results, right? So I would recommend, keep holding your shares. Of course, I am not a financial advisor, so please do take my advice with a grain of salt. I bought in at around, I believe it was $14 or $15. So right now I'm sitting at a healthy, 33% gain. But I think this stock price will be, around $40 within the next year or so. Okay, especially depending on what their Q3 results and beyond are. All right, so that's just my take on Nordstrom. If you enjoy this video, please be sure to give it a like. And if you haven't subscribed already, please do so. Definitely helps out the channel more than you can know. But yeah, love you all, guys, and I hope you have a fantastic day.